Now Dad, Jimmy, and the engineers are playing football and winning, doing good. And Dad got a concussion. He got wiped, he got nailed. He had a concussion, so it was X amount of miles inland. I don't remember how many, but he was at a hospital. And one morning, they heard planes coming over and overhead, and he went out onto his little porch, little landing outside. And another guy in the room with him, I think, walked out there and they're looking at the planes going overhead, and it's time to drop things. And Dad says, "Oh, they must be dropping flour bags to show for bombing, to see where they hit, see how accurate they are." And all of a sudden, then they started exploding when they hit. And when they looked up now, Dad and this other guy, they could see the orange sun, the sun on the wings, the red sun, whatever it is, on the wings. And he went, "Uh-oh, we're getting bombed." Of course, the alarms are going off in the hospital because they're freaking out. By the time the Japs got there, they had run out of bombs, so they just strafed the hospital. And that, real cool people. They strafed the hospital with the machine guns, from the planes. And Dad said he was watching a guy running down first a nurse came in flying, and when he and a nurse dove under a bed, and they're watching this guy coming running down the hallway with a full leg cast, and he's humping it, he's trying to get there, and they're yelling to him, "Get over here, get over here." And he got hit with a round right in the heel, but it only caught the cast, flipped him right up in the air, landed just about on his head, I guess, but crawled enough to get under the bed with Dad and the nurse, and they were okay after that. But when they could get up, when the strafing stopped, Dad ran down, of course, down into the streets, and he was helping carry the wounded in on stretchers. And he says, "My first introduction to the actual war was when we had a guy on a stretcher, and we had to turn him over onto the cot. And when he did that," he says, "the coagulated blood completely covered the cot." That guy was bleeding, but it completely covered the cot. And he goes, "Wow, Jupe, welcome to the war." And then they said, any able bodies, get back to your barracks. He could do it. He'd been in there for a week, I think, for a concussion. A few days anyway, so he took off and got a ride back to Schofield Barracks. Was on top of the barracks, shooting machine guns, anti-aircraft guns at them. Anything you could shoot at them at that point. And one of our own anti-aircraft shells missed. It didn't get a plane, so it came down, missed Dad. He says it was 3 feet behind me. Hit. Went through the roof, through the second floor, through the first floor, and into the dirt in the basement. It didn't go off. He says if it did, of course, none of us would be here. And none of the Hallahands on this side. But he said, talk about luck. And when he and Mom went back for the 50th anniversary, they had put that shell back in so everybody could see that shell that didn't explode. Of course, it was, they had disarmed it by then. But imagine that, our own shell almost killed Dad. That was his introduction to World War II. And I'll tell you another Hawaii story next.